Hello everyone, and welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 282. Andrew Eisen here to tell you all the important things. The things that are important to me, anyway. And most importantly, I finally beat Horizon Zero Dawn. Yes. On normal difficulty, I have no idea if there's a difficulty slider or not. So whatever it defaults to is, if there's a difficulty slider, I play it on whatever it defaults to. I first started the game back in, I think, May. I played it on my stream. 3, 4, or 5 hours. Played it on the stream. And then played it a little bit more in my off time, so I probably put in maybe 10 hours. And then I got distracted by something shiny and just didn't play it anymore. Until this past January, when I picked it up again, after I'd finished a couple other games, because I was like, okay, I need to, I have decided that I will finish all of my in-progress games before I start anything new. Didn't stop me from buying anything new, but I haven't started any new games. I've been finishing the ones I'm in the middle of. So I finished Lost Judgment, I finished Wolfenstein and its DLC. It's actually just the latter half of the DLC, the Old Blood, I think it's called, that I needed to finish. And I started up Horizon Zero Dawn, or continued Horizon Zero Dawn, and finally finished it yesterday. Chicago says, I still need to get back to Horizon Zero Dawn. I think I'm still at the proving. Oh, so the beginning of the game? Yeah, that's not too terribly far into the game, at least main story-wise. I mean, you could reach the proving probably 3 hours into the game. Or 10 hours, or 15 hours. It depends on, 'cause I don't think I got that far, before I stopped playing it last year. So, I didn't think because how long to beat? I have the, complete edition, the one that includes the Frozen Wilds DLC. HowLongToBeat.com says the completionist, doing the base game and the DLC and just completing every task, should take you 76.5 hours. I have no idea how long it took me. It took about 3 months. Although I did kind of burn out on it, and there was a 2-week chunk of, I think, March where I just didn't play it because I was burned out on it because it's taken so long. So I don't know how long it took me to beat that game, but it didn't feel like 76.5 hours. It feels like I logged well over 200 hours in that game. Not that it's a bad game. I quite enjoyed it. I think it's a pretty decent game, all told. But man, I was just waiting for that thing to end. It just keeps going. But I did really like, I could have just gone straight through the story missions and finished it, but I'm inclined to pick up all the doodads and do all the quests and stuff. I do like how the end of the game goes, where, okay, we're doing the final fight, and Aloy, your protagonist, walks around, and all of the various peoples that you've interacted with, even a few from the Frozen Wilds DLC, show up to help you in the final battle, and you can talk to all of them. And I thought that was a really nice touch. It's like, oh yeah, you're the lady who runs the place who built the big Gatling gun. I remember you. And oh, you're that weird bloodthirsty guy who helped me on all the bandit raids. And oh, you are I'm like, oh, it's all my friends who I kind of remember some of you. Hello, Firelight. Lindy, hello. I got custom Lindy art. You can't really see it very well, but that's a custom portrait of Lum sitting next to my Urutse Yatsura DVDs. So, um, my major criticism... Brian had a interesting observation, and I agree with him. He mentioned this in one of the comment section of my YouTube videos a week or two back. There are games that take a long time to beat but don't feel like it, and there are other games that are exactly the opposite. They don't take as long to beat, but they sure do feel like it. Like, I don't think I've ever logged more than 200 hours into a single game. I may not have logged... I doubt I logged 200 into this one, but it feels like it. Now, Monster Hunter, that's easily like a 150-hour game. I probably put in like 170 hours into Monster Hunter Rise, but it doesn't feel like that. And I played that game over a course of like 4.5 months. But Horizon Zero Dawn, oh man, that feels over 200 hours. Again, not that I didn't enjoy myself, I did for the most part, but that game could have used some tighter pacing. Also, it's kind of weird, because it wasn't until like 2 weeks ago until I discovered that the titular Zero Dawn is actually a thing in the game. There is a, that's a noun. It's, Zero Dawn is a thing that Aloy discovers and has to figure out what it is and what it did, right? It's like, oh, what is Project Zero Dawn? I'm like, oh, Zero Dawn is actually a thing? I thought it was just a silly video game title. I thought it was Horizon Zero Dawn. We threw darts at words pasted on a board, and that's what we came up with. All right, thump Horizon. All right, thump Zero, thump Dawn. Sure, that works. No, Zero Dawn's actually a thing, and what it is if you're into fun future sci-fi stories, it's pretty interesting. Unfortunately, it doesn't really come in until the end of the game, which is weird. That's just an odd choice in the pacing, because towards the end of the game, you're in essentially the lead into the final act, and you go explore a facility, and you are trapped in there for 2 hours, where all you do is read text logs and listen to audio logs. And that explains the whole background of what what Zero Dawn is and what's really going on in the world. You don't learn about that until the last 20% of the game. And it's this humongous exposition dump where, again, you're just trapped in an underground facility and you just walk through it for about 2 hours reading text logs and listening to audio logs. Now, luckily, I love stuff like that, so I was fine. And occasionally, enemies burst in, and you fight them, which is weird because it's that Lara Croft thing where she breaks into a tomb that the light hasn't even touched in millennia, and somehow bad guys with guns are already in there waiting for her somehow. And it makes you feel, it's like, is there a back door with, like, stairs leading up to it that I totally missed, and I went about this the long way? I think the game could have been paced better. Like, dole that out over the course of the game. Because you find out fairly early on that the old ones, the modern world is gone and your world is here. What happened? You don't figure out almost anything until way, 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 way late in the game. It's not something you progressively learn. It's something that's just... to the point where I completely forgot about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I was a orphan with no parents raised by a dude. Oh yeah, that was a thing, wasn't it? Because that really hasn't come up. So I didn't 100% the game. I like 99%ed it or something like that. There were a few text logs and things scattered across the world that I didn't find. And I don't care. Because with very few exceptions, I found most of the readable material boring. most of it was flavor text, was world building stuff, but most of it was completely uninteresting. I found all the Zero Dawn, all the actual plot relevant stuff, pretty interesting, but all the with the exception of Concrete Beach Party, the final logs of two women who were working in a water treatment plant or something like that, and they made their own band by banging on pipes and stuff like that, called a Concrete Beach Party. That one I liked. That was a fun story. The rest of them are just kind of dull and uninteresting. So that's a shame. I really didn't care to scour the world for the missing text and audio logs. In fact, I found myself skimming a lot of them just because I found them so utterly uninteresting, which is rare for me. I usually, I'm the kind of guy who reads all of the text description, the flavor text in Dark Souls and stuff. I love environmental storytelling and supplemental detail. I love that stuff. But for the most part, in Horizon Zero Dawn, it just kind of bored the hell out of me. Oh, and it ends the Frozen Wilds DLC in probably the worst way ever. So, what's the plot of Frozen Wilds? So there's like an erupting volcano. And what it turns out is there's like a rogue AI that is making bad machines so you have to get into the volcano and override the corrupt AI to make it stop doing bad things. And so to do that, you have to become the chieftain of some Werak, I think it's called, some tribe of people, and you have to lead the former chieftain and his sister, who worships the good AI. You have to lead them in there and fight through a bunch of monsters, and then she dies, and you guys both get out by the skin of your teeth, and you go back to the good AI, and you talk to her, and you have this denouement where, I'm not pronouncing that right. How do you pronounce that word? Crap. T. Can I even spell it right? Denouement. Denouement. Denouement? I don't... There's... So it's denouement. Denouement? I don't know how that version is, and it's not written in the Merriam-Webster. I've got the pronunciation guide for denouement, but not the one that ends in ment. Well, that sucks. Oh well. You know what word I'm going for. So we end the So we have our denouement talking to the good AI, and he says, "I'm gonna go back and make sure that the Werak is okay," and that's really where it should end. But it doesn't. There's one more quest. 5 fire claws, which are the big, bad, real pain-in-the-ass beastly things. 5 big, bad enemies have shown up on the map. Go kill all of them. They just take the hardest enemy in the game, and it really is a pain in the ass. It's not as hard as it is just an utter pain in the ass to it takes like 4 or 5 minutes to take one of these damn things down. They are just damage sponges. And there's 5 of them. I don't know what they were thinking. It's like, oh, we found it, we beat the bad guy. Oh, tragedy, loss. Oh, denouement. We talked to the thing. He's going back here. There's just 5 new enemies on the map. Go get them. An ill-advised choice. Not Crystal Dynamics. Guerrilla Games? I think that's who did it. So I was like, I don't want to. I don't want to fight any more fire claws. They suck. They're pains in the butt. But I did. And so now the fire claws. And there's just 5 fire claws dotting the map for no reason. Go kill them. It's like the laziest quest in the entire game, and that's how it ends. Oh, there's this one bad guy who has almost no presence throughout the entire game. You'll see him at the proving, and then he completely disappears until pretty much the end of the game. And I'm like, who are you? And in fact, I was fighting, I was doing the final boss fight, and I was fighting him, and I didn't even realize I was fighting him. I was like shooting this one, because there's like, you're in this area, this fairly contained area with like 3 guys, and I'm firing arrows into this dude's face, and his health is barely going down. I'm like, why is this guy not dying? And it literally took me a minute before I'm like, oh, that's Helios, or whatever, the Helios, or Brian, David, whatever the hell his name is. That's the main bad. Oh, that's why he's a damage sponge, because this is the boss fight. That's the bad guy. Didn't even realize I was fighting him. He has that little impact. Didn't even realize I was fighting a boss. But then you get rushed by machines, but you get like a big gun, so it's kind of fun just taking down the Deathbringers and the Storm Eagles. No, that's Mega Man X. It's one of the robot Mavericks, I think they're called in that series. Storm Eagle, yeah. Storm Bird, maybe. You take out the Corruptors and Deathbringers and the big bads, but with a giant cannon, which is kind of fun. And then you have to run up to a thing and then fight some more enemies. It's not particularly inspired. They don't throw anything new at you. It's just like, here's some enemies, kill another Deathbringer, then go stick your stick in the thing, and that's the game over. You're done. You're good. Oh, okay, sure, fine. So will I play the sequel? No, not well. I mean, not now. I am all Horizoned out. I am done with Horizon. I don't want to play Horizon anymore. I liked Horizon, but I've had all the Horizon I can take for now. Maybe the game might drop to $20. I bought the Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition for like $20 a few years ago. If the Forbidden West if I find it for like $20, I might pick it up and then play it someday. But for right now, no, I'm good. I am good. That's not how you do it. That way? One of these ways. Although that's now a white supremacist hand gesture, so I shouldn't do that anyway. But you'll never take this one away from me, white supremacists. Don't take all the dirty gestures. So yeah, it's a perfectly fine game. There's a lot I like about it. It's the kind of game I look at and go, this is a great start, and I think a sequel could really do wonders for this game. No, I actually haven't even read any reviews for Forbidden West that I recall, so I'm not totally certain how well received it's been. Haven't heard anything negative, so I'm sure it's fine. But yeah, I'll probably play it someday. I enjoyed Horizon Zero Dawn, but long game. Its story is not paced very well. Its story is pretty interesting. I again, if you're a fan of of sci-fi kind of stuff, I think it's got a nice story. Unfortunately, it's all told in like text logs and stuff, which is not maybe not the most engaging thing, because the entire story takes place centuries before the present of the game, so you don't really get to experience but through like recorded messages and stuff. So maybe the sequel will have a better way to present the story. It'll be paced better. Maybe the game will be a little bit tighter so it doesn't just run so long. On the other hand, if I was like 12 years old and I only had the budget for very few games and I got this for $20, that'd be great. Man, this thing lasted me for like 3 or 4 months. This is great. But I'm an adult now. As I hurtle inevitably towards my demise, I get nervous about things taking too long, because then I'm like, I've only got so many years so much time to jam all this stuff in, you know? The longer movies and video games are, the less movies and video games and books and music and stuff I can experience. Be shorter. Be concise, goddammit. I've only got finite time. You know, when I was 10, I wasn't really worried about that, but now that I'm in my 40s, I look at a movie, I'm like, oh, 2.5 hours? I'm gonna die someday. I might not have time for this. I might not want to make time for this anyway. Jared says, headshots do a wonder. Literally killed all the enemies on the flea missions because I was bored. I don't even remember the flea mission. Yeah, most of the, what's funny is yeah. I like the, because you can load up to 3, it's a skill that you earn, but you can load it. Why fire 1 arrow when you can load 3 and fire 3 at a time? So doing a 3-arrow headshot in some poor dude is usually pretty fun. In slow-mo, it's pretty funny. There's also a pretty great perk where you can just whistle real loud and bring in a metal donkey to go donkey kick everybody on the screen. It's pretty funny. Also, you're level capped at level 60. So you can't earn any more. So I was like you stop earning experience points. It's like, you got 10,000 experience for this quest. I'm like, I'm capped. I can't do anything with that. You got a skill point. I've got all the skills. I can't do anything with that. So, I mean, you know. I finally did get a second modification for my stick, my staff, my bow, whatever it's called, her main melee weapon, because I unlocked a second augment slot, and I somehow never got a second augment for the beat 'em up stick. I finally actually got one, so that was nice. Alright, so as some of you know, I've not seen every superhero movie, so I made a list of the ones I missed, and I've been doing a video series where I'm, you know, going back and watching the stuff I missed, like the Amazing Spider-Mans and Catwoman. My list is about 24 films. I'm currently about a quarter of the way through the list. I just recorded one today. This project may have been a mistake, because every single movie I've watched so far is bad. I am regretting my choices. What's funny is all 6 movies I've watched so far, about 20 minutes into the movie, I was thinking, you know, this is probably fine. You know, so far it's okay. I mean, it's not good, but it's fine. You know, I'll probably come out of this movie thinking, it was fine. It was alright. Nope. No. All of them have been bad. Which, I guess that's complimentary towards my gut. Like, I have some pretty good intuition when it comes to whether a movie's worth watching or not. It's like, wow, all of the movies I skipped turned out to be worth skipping. They're all really bad. I'm still hoping that at least one of them will reach the lofty heights of meh. So the next movie on my list is Superman Returns. Directed, I believe, by Bryan Singer. Starring, I think, Kevin Spacey, if I'm remembering right. So, not getting off on the right foot with this project, but, you know, hopefully I can look past that and enjoy the movie on its own terms. Although there's probably a reason I didn't bother going to see it back in 2006. I honestly don't remember anything about the film's marketing. Like, I know Brandon Routh is in it. I can, like, picture the Superman suit. but I can't even remember the marketing for the film. I've blocked it out, or I'm getting old and losing my memory. I'm really not sure. Lyrically C, hello. Did you miss the debut review? A recap from this week? I debut reviewed something this week. What did I debut review? Oh, All of Us Are Dead. Yeah. Why is this page not displaying correctly? There we go. Yeah, All of Us Are Dead. A zombie television series on Netflix, which, yeah, so I released that. Next week, I will probably... what do I have in the hopper? The next debut review is shot. That's for the first episode of My Dress Up Darling, which is an anime. And then I think what I'll be publishing is the superhero fanboy finally watches. I think the next one is Constantine, the Hellblazer movie starring Keanu Reeves. Spoilers. It's bad. Yeah, it's not good. I haven't edited the footage yet. I'm afraid. I remember recording the review for that one and being like, wow, there's... The biggest problem with Constantine is it's so uninteresting. I've still managed to yammer for 20 minutes, but most of these films, the two Amazing Spider-Man movies, Catwoman, Fantastic Four, what I just watched today, X-Men The Last Stand, they're all at least interesting to talk about, which is why these reviews are running like a half an hour. Constantine's just there and not good. So we'll see. I'll probably release that next week. And then my sister and I have to start in on our monthly movie mini reviews for January, even though it's currently April. Those pants! Yes! Was I wrong? Yep. Let's see. Chicago says, which ones of the ones you didn't see have you seen now? Okay, so I've watched 6 so far. Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2, Catwoman, Constantine, which I haven't edited yet. So I'll probably work on that tomorrow night and release that Tuesday or Wednesday. The Fantastic Four, the one from 2005. Fantastic Four, not Fan Four Stick. And X-Men Last Stand, which I just watched and recorded today. And then the next one on the list, which I've not watched yet, is Superman Returns. So, yeah, I have... hopefully Superman Returns... This looks like a job for Superman. I hope. I mean, I thought Man of Steel was bad. Again, not that there wasn't anything to like in Man of Steel. There absolutely was. There's a lot of things in Man of Steel I like, but overall, I don't think the movie works. I think the movie's actually it's bad. It's bad. But Superman 4 is bad too. Superman 1's okay. Superman 2's okay. There's a lot about Superman 3 that I like. Superman 3 is bad, but there's a lot I like about it. Superman 2 is like... I'm not sure. Superman 1 I actually kind of enjoy until the ending I thought was kind of dumb, but... I don't know. I have not seen the Christopher Reeve Superman movies in decades. Probably since I was... I mean, Superman 4 was, what, like 88, 89, something like that? Let's see. Quest for Peace! Quest for Peace! 87, okay, yeah. Yeah, so I probably have not seen the Superman movies since I was in single-digit ages. Although I do remember my favorite part, I do love the idea of Superman going like, alright, here's what's going to happen. I'm just going to gather up all the nuclear weapons and chuck them into the sun. because you guys just can't be trusted with that. And that's infantilizing, but it's also probably true. I kind of like the idea. It's like, nope, you can't have these. No. If you kids can't play nice with your toys, I'm gonna throw them into the sun. Here's a strand of Superman's hair that is so strong it can hold up this humongous weight, and he cuts it with a pair of scissors. Well, actually, if he probably has like bolt cutters or something, but still. Oh well. The TV show Constantine. Yeah, I think they rolled that character. They canceled it after like one season, but I think they rolled that actor into the League of Legends of Tomorrow series. I think. I haven't watched any of those shows. Maybe I should try superhero video games. Nah. Nah. How many Superman movies are there now? Well, I mean, it kind of depends on how you count. There's the 4 Christopher Reeve movies. There's the George Reeve, I think his name was. I think they actually did a movie with him. Maybe. I don't remember. There were... I don't know if there were any full features before that. But there's Superman Returns, there's Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League, so, yeah, 9 or 10, I guess. Depends on how you count. Alright, what are we talking about now? Okay. Alright, let's talk about Activision Blizzard, which is one of the worst video game companies. Remember back in like 2012, 2013, when Electronic Arts had won Worst Company in America 2 years in a row, and everyone laughed at them? What was EA? What were the problems people had with EA back then? It was DRM and always online. So you remember SimCity came out in 2012, 2013, somewhere around there, and no one could play it because it was this stupid always online requirement, even though it was a single player game, and it just didn't work. Worst company in America. Well, Ubisoft, which is not an American company, might take the cake for worst video game company. Being that their upper management is chock-a-block full of abusers and sex pests that the upper management routinely permits, encourages, and protects. So, that's not good. Not good at all. And Activision Blizzard seems to be trying to be seems to be trying to take the crown away from Ubisoft. They keep shooting themselves in the crotch on purpose, and I don't know why. It's like, you don't have to do these terrible things. You're still not as bad as Ubisoft in a lot of regards, but oh my god. And you have to wonder how Microsoft feels about this after paying $70 billion or whatever it was for Activision Blizzard. Because when they did that, everyone was quite... You're like, you're getting rid of Bobby Kotick, right? I mean, right? Microsoft's non-committal, probably for legal reasons. Hopefully not because they just really don't care. But Activision Blizzard continues to do genuinely horrible things. They're constantly in the news for doing terrible things. And, a couple of weeks ago, it was in the news that Activision Blizzard released a statement saying, hey everyone, back to the office. And by the way, we're dropping those pesky vaccination requirements. You don't need to, you have to come back to the office, and you don't need to be vaccinated. Why would you do that? Oh my god. Which, immediately suffered backlash and caused a walkout. Because some people care about their health. don't know if you've noticed, but pandemic's not over. Partially because a significant percentage of people just outright refuse to be vaccinated or even participate in the most basic of health measures, like washing your hands or social distancing or wearing a mask, things like that. A lot of people, especially Americans, oh my god, we're terrible at this. We just get bored of stuff real quick. It's like, I'm bored of the pandemic. You realize it's not how that works, right? Oh, the daily deaths are on the decline. It's fine. That's true. That's true. I mean, earlier this year, thousands of people were dying in this country, America, every single day, and now it's only several hundred people in this country every single day. So that's the right direction, yes, but must remind you that it's currently still several hundred people, 500, 600, 700 people every single day, daily, dead. Not infected, dead. Tens of thousands of new infections every day, but only several hundred deaths every single day. Right direction, sure. But that's the problem with us, is we're like, oh, it's getting better, everything's fine now. And then what happens? Well, we get another wave of infections, which brings on another wave of deaths. So, if that happens again, for America, that will be our 5th or 6th wave? I've lost count. We Americans and, well, America is, I think globally, I think we are the worst as far as the numbers go. I think by like every single metric, sheer numbers per capita, I think we are the worst. We're like a nation of goldfish. We don't pay attention. We get bored. We don't learn. I don't know if I'm unfairly stereotyping goldfish or not. What was I talking about? Oh, Activision Blizzard. So, what's the guy's name? Let me look up the dude bro's name. COO Armin Zerza. That's a cool name, though. Armin Zerza. That is an awesome name. Oh, wait a minute. Do I have the right guy? Let me make sure I have the right guy. No, I don't. I think that was the guy he replaced. I'm talking about Chief Administration Officer Brian Bulatao. Not as cool a name. And not as cool a guy. Who was I thinking of? Who is Armin Zerza? He was the... Okay, so he's... he got promoted, and this guy took his... Okay, so that's what it was. Anyway, so Brian Bulatao announced, as conditions approve, we prepare to welcome more of you back to our office, and effective immediately, we're lifting our vaccine mandate for all U.S. employees. This means that employees no longer need to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19 in order to return to the office. Why the fuck would you do that? How does that make any sense? Don't want to get vaccinated? Cool. Stay home. You can stay home. You can still work for Activision Blizzard from home, like we've all been doing. You want to bring everybody back to the office? Great. But I'm not going back to an office until you guarantee that everyone's fucking vaccinated. But that's me. So, of course, that caused a walkout, as I mentioned. And who is this guy, by the way? I mean, he was hired last year, and we knew he was a shitty hire. Why? Because he came from the Trump administration. Of course. So not only do we know that he's incompetent and a bully, we know that because let me see if I'm remembering this correctly. So he worked under Mike Pompeo at the State Department, which was under investigation for doing an assortment of bad things, ranging from financial to other things, right? So the Inspector General, the IG, I think I've got the right position, was running an investigation of that office, and, of course, Trump fired him. Because that's always a good look. Fire the people investigating you for doing bad things. Maybe we shouldn't be allowed to do that. Might be something we consider. We shouldn't allow people to investigate themselves for doing bad things, and we shouldn't allow people to be able to fire people who are investigating them for doing bad things. I don't know. Maybe I'm onto something. Who knows? But anyway, so the IG or whoever it was who was investigating testified before Congress that not only was this guy an abusive bully, but he also didn't know what the hell his job was. So, abusive and incompetent. Yeah. Good hire, Activision. Nice job, Bobby. Bet you're proud to announce that guy. And a year later, he's like, you know what? Fuck the pandemic. Everyone get your asses back in here whether you're vaccinated or not. So, it doesn't end there, of course. You might have heard the news this week that Activision Blizzard is making a bunch of QA people full-time. So they're going to, maybe make enough money to live on. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah. Yeah, that would. You hear this little game series called, what's it called? It's a little indie series, Call of Duty. One of the developers, Raven Software, is attempting to unionize. Do the benefits that Activision Blizzard are extending to its various QA teams, that goes for Raven Software too, right? Nope. Is it because they're unionizing? Well, Activision says no, but it sure looks like it, don't it? It's like, oh, Raven Software, look how generous we are. Look how gregarious we are. We're doing all this nice thing for QA peoples. We would love to do the same thing for you, but you're unionizing, so our hands are tied. Man, think about it. If you weren't unionizing, we could extend these same benefits to you. But, there's nothing we can do about it. Because you're doing that whole union vote thing, and the law is that we can't make benefits or pay changes during a union vote, so we can't do anything. I'm not going to, mention the fact that we, shot down, your attempt to unionize in the first place, and that's why you have to hold a vote. So, but yeah, I'm sure Activision Blizzard's completely on the up and up here. So far as I've seen, nobody believes Activision Blizzard. Are they correct in saying that this specific law prohibits us from making benefit and pay changes during a union vote? I didn't read the law, but I will take them at their word that that law exists and that's what it says. Sure. But it's Activision Blizzard's fault that people are trying to unionize in the first place. It's Activision Blizzard's fault that they have been unable to so far. And maybe it's a coincidence, but it sure is convenient that Activision Blizzard comes out with this uncharacteristically pro-worker policy change that just so happens to have the added benefit of discouraging people from unionizing. Weird how that works. So, good purchase there, Microsoft. That's $80 billion well spent, $70 billion, whatever it was. I sure hope you clean house when the final paperwork is done, because Activision Blizzard is staffed with a bunch, the upper management staffed with wholly terrible people who should not be in positions of power over anybody, ever, in any circumstance. So, golly, I sure do hope that Microsoft does the right thing here, because, yeah, I mean, if I was in Microsoft, I would just be horrified and embarrassed every single week, because horrible shit like this comes out about Activision Blizzard every single week. All of this nonsense, weekly, with this damn company. Ubisoft at least knows enough to keep its damn head down. It's a horrible company run by horrible people. The upper management, I mean, I'm sure most of the daily people who work there are wonderful, but, Yves Jumeau and, his friends, they're all terrible people and should not have positions of power over anybody ever, anywhere. Anytime. But compared to Activision Blizzard, Ubisoft at least knows not to say anything. Because they know that, as Americans, if they just ignore it for a couple of weeks, we'll forget and move on to something. Activision Blizzard, on the other hand, does press releases every week. That keeps them in the public eye. And I guess all... there's no such thing as bad PR. I don't know. You could just do good things. I mean, wouldn't that be easier? Then you'd get attention and people would not hate you. Or maybe maybe these pieces of garbage who work in the upper echelons of Activision Blizzard know that their time is short and they're trying to burn it down on their way out. Maybe that's what's going on. But anyway, glad that they walked back that everyone come back unvaccinated bullshit. Because so good on Activision and Blizzard employees for being able to remain safer. Good on the QA department for hopefully making living wages, and good luck to Raven Software for leading the charge. Because if it wasn't attempting to unionize, my money's on these QA changes would not have happened in the first place. This strikes me as solely a union-busting effort on Activision Blizzard's part. And again, it doesn't come out of the blue. They do this shit all the time. It's like, well... I saw in the media, the news this week, I forget where, some speculation on, wow, if the Republicans retake the Senate next year, it's possible that they might not allow hearings for a potential Supreme Court nominee. So if next year the Republicans control the Senate, and someone else on the Supreme Court passes away or retires, and the current president nominates somebody, a Republican-controlled Senate would just ignore them. That could happen. That will happen. We know it will. For a couple reasons. One, the Republicans, nominally the House Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, has outright said they would do exactly that on multiple occasions. Number two, the Republicans have already done that. Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia passed away in January of 2015, I think. And then President Barack Obama nominated Merrick Garland, who's the current AG and not doing his job apparently, but nominated him to fill the vacancy. The Republicans controlled the Senate at the time, and not only refused to hold a vote, but refused to hold any hearings for like 9 months until the end of Obama's second term. So it aggravates me when I say the news media, oh, I mean, we don't want to appear presumptuous, but this is within the realm of possibilities that these demonstrably terrible people might actually do this thing. Oh, you think? Yeah, of course they will. They've already done it. They've already said multiple times they will absolutely do that. So that's why I'm comfortable saying that Activision is definitely doing a union busting thing here on purpose, because they've already done stuff like that. This is what they do. I'm not just making stuff up. Yeah. It's like some people in news media, like, again, it's like the goldfish memory thing. It's like everything is the first time anything has ever happened. Like waves of COVID. A new wave of COVID? We couldn't expect this. The numbers were going down and then they went up. Yeah, that's happened about 4 or 5 times already. Yeah, within the last 2 years. I'm surprised you didn't notice. Because over 1 million people in this country alone are dead. I mean, we're a population of... What's our population here? It's like 360 million or something like that. And we've had over 1 million people dead. Odds are you know somebody. I do. I know a couple, unfortunately. What are the numbers? Like it's over 100 million infections, right? You definitely know someone who's had COVID if you haven't. You probably know someone who's dead. So it boggles my mind when people act surprised about bullshit that just keeps happening. In conclusion, Activision Blizzard is run by shitty people. And it genuinely seems like they're trying to be just the worst. You know? And it reminds me of people you see on social media who, like, pretend to be phenomenally stupid just in order to cause you grief. Like, they will willfully misunderstand something. Oh, so you're saying that this? No, that's not what I said at all. And I can only imagine my flabbergastedness at, you know, my boggled mind, my jopped jaw. It's like, what is wrong with you? Haha, that right there. That's what I like to see. I just want to frustrate you. I just want to make you wonder what the hell is wrong with me. Like, you're willing to present yourself as phenomenally stupid and incompetent just in order to frustrate a person you don't know? Seems so. It's weird. Social media can be weird. It's one of the reasons why I'm glad I'm not particularly popular. Because I get all the cool people. You know? Let's see. Hey, Rerun Trading. Hello. What did I miss? Brandon Ruth, the good Superman, but the movie isn't great. Oh, that sucks. Let's see. Video games. Insomniac Spider-Man games are quite good. Arkham Asylum. Oh, I've played Arkham Asylum. I thought Arkham Asylum was pretty fun. If you leave work early, we'll inject you with COVID. Jesus. COVID is the new flu. I just get my booster and go about my day. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, as long as you're going about your day in a safe manner. Like, you know, if you're going in a small space with other people, wear a mask. You know? But, yeah. Sadly, I mean, I don't want anybody to die, but, you know, those that refuse the vaccine will eventually die, sadly. Well, most of the people who die of COVID are unvaccinated, but you can still die even if you are vaccinated, you know. I'm not sure how this misconception gets around, but for anyone who doesn't know, vaccinated does not mean immune. You know, Also, aside from the fact that some people just, it's not many, but there are some people who genuinely can't be vaccinated, and it's for them that we should all be vaccinated. But yeah, you can still die. It's really unlikely. Most of the people who are vaccinated and still die of COVID are pretty sick. I think the last study I saw was something like 78% of the people who died of COVID and were vaccinated had at least 4 comorbidities. Things like, advanced age, diabetes, some, immunocompromised in some way, severely overweight, that kind of a thing. So, if you're vaccinated, you are far less likely to, you're much less likely to get sick. You're much less, and if you're much less likely to get sick, if you do get sick, which is less likely, you're much less likely to be severely symptomatic. And even if you are, you're much less likely to die. But we're talking about a population of 300 and some odd million people. So with that many people in the pot, you're going to have people dropping dead, unfortunately. Unfortunately, there's just a contingent of people, and it's like 35 to 40% in this country, who are just like, no. For some reason, just this vaccine, no. And I've talked about this before, but from I think October through January, I spoke with someone close to me who is now an anti-vaxxer for whatever reason. And what stunned me is every single thing they told me was wrong. Demonstrably, provably wrong by multiple independent sources. Now, a lot of the stuff they told me I'd never heard before and actually had to research. But literally, and that sounds like hyperbole, that sounds like an overgeneralization, but no. I mean literally, every single reason this person gave me for not getting vaccinated was wrong. Every single one. And I can't stress that enough. Literally every single damn one. And I spent 4 months. Every time they sent me an email listing out their grievances or concerns, I would, one by one, explain to them. And it took me hours to edit this shit because I had to, remove profanity and remove aggression because I was very angry. Still am, as you can probably tell. One by one, I'd go, okay, this is incorrect. This is why and how it's incorrect. This is what is correct. And here are multiple independent sources that you can go to verify that what I'm telling you is true. At no point did this person ever respond to anything I said to them. Never even acknowledged anything. I may not have even read any of I may have completely wasted my time. One of the last communications I had with them, that's not true. They did respond to one thing I said, and it was an analogy. And they still got it wrong. One of the last things, one of our last communications, they said, okay, here are my 2 big issues with the whole COVID thing. Issue 1, issue 2. I read their, here's my 2 big issues, okay, and I looked at them, and I had no idea. One was, this person said this. I had no idea who that person was, or if they actually said that. I'd never heard that before. And another one was, well, if COVID, then why isn't the government doing this thing? Okay. It took me less than 5 minutes to find out that both things, unsurprisingly, were completely wrong. They got the quote of the person completely wrong, which completely changes what they said. And them complaining about, well, there should be a law that does this. There is. And I'd composed an email explaining all this. And then I backpedaled, and instead of sending the email, I sent a different email saying, you tell me that these are your 2 big problems with getting vaccinated. Those are your words. You said that these two issues are your big problems with getting vaccinated. Okay. Hypothetically, if I proved to you that both of your big issues, as far as getting vaccinated goes, were 100% completely wrong, if I prove that to you, that both your big issues against vaccination are 100% completely wrong, will you change your mind? They said no. That's probably not exactly accurate. I think they said something more along the lines of no, probably not. And then had the gall to follow up with, but I'd still like you to show me where I'm going wrong, because I always want to know. No, you obviously do not fucking care. In fact, you've been lying to me for the last 4 months, wasting both of our goddamn time. Because these are obviously not your two big issues. Because you admitted it yourself. If you show me that I'm wrong, I'm still not going to change my mind. You've just told me that you don't care what the truth is. You've made a decision based on how you're feeling that day, I guess. And no amount of information is going to change your mind. I don't know what to do with that. That kind of thinking is foreign to me. I don't get that. When I was a kid, I thought whales were fish. Because they swim in the water. If you swim in the water, you're a fish. More specifically, if you live in the water, you're a fish. It's got like fins and flippers and a fluked tail, although, it goes up and down. It's a fish. Now, when I got older, I learned that it's a mammal, it's not a fish. Here's all the information explaining why. Here are the diagnostic characteristics of mammals, and here's how and why they apply to whales. Therefore, whales are mammals. Just mammals that swim in the water. Which, humans, also mammals, can do, just not as efficiently as a whale can. So, me personally, I looked at the information and I said, oh, I was incorrect. And I updated my thinking. I didn't continue going, no, whales are fish, and no evidence to the contrary will be looked at or accepted. You can prove to me that whales aren't fish, but I will not accept it, and I will still keep saying that whales are fish. That makes no sense to me. I don't understand that. The last time I communicated with this person, who again is someone I've known for literal decades, and is very close to me, told me that they were volunteering at a soup kitchen or something every weekend for 2 shifts, and they were giving people food. The first draft of my response email was not very nice. Yeah, it was probably said something like, "Are you fucking insane? What the hell is wrong with you?" You know? Because not only is this person not vaccinated, this person also does not social distance. I mean, says they will wear a mask if asked, but constantly, goes to group gatherings, and I don't believe they're wearing a mask at all. Probably because no one's asking them to. This person has had COVID twice. And I know at least 2 people that they almost certainly infected. Luckily, both of them had mild cases and survived, and so far as I know, are not suffering from long COVID or anything. Well, golly gosh, I hope that kitchen has a sign that says, warning, some of the food servers aren't vaccinated. Eat at your own risk. Because, if I were to go eat at a restaurant or some food service, that's something I'd want to know. In conclusion, Activision bad. Let's see, where were we? Matthew says, why the heck would you do that in an industry where the workforce is overwhelmingly pro-vaccine compared to the population at large? That's so dumb. And he goes on, and that's the point, that 30+% are going to refuse the vaccine regardless. We can't stay the way we were in 2020 forever. Hey, I'm vax plus boosted. We'll get the next booster too. Those refused will suffer, but it can't live in isolation behavior because idiots refuse vaccines. That's true to an extent. I mean, that's a good point. When you have 35% approximately of the population of this country anyway that staunchly refuses to get vaccinated, what do you do? Stay away from people forever? No. I mean, you can't ask that of anybody. All you can really do is, just be as safe as possible. Wash your hands. Don't, cover your mouth when you cough. Wear a mask if you're around other people. I think mask wearing is probably something that we're going to have to societally adopt in, enclosed, crowded spaces, like on, buses and planes and, enclosed spaces with lots of people. Plenty of other countries have long done that. That's probably something we're going to have to adopt. It's not ideal, but whatever helps. But yeah, I'm certainly not advocating, everyone, 35% of the country is forcing the rest of us to stay home forever. Now, I'm fine with that. Me personally, I'm like, oh, stay home away from people forever? Yes, please. But not everyone is me. And no, I don't expect all of you, those of you who are, practice social distancing and have been vaccinated and boosted, do I expect you to stay home alone for the rest of your days? No. But I do ask you to be as safe as you possibly can. Should we hold people down and forcibly vaccinate them? It's a fun idea, but no. What would I do if I were in charge? I don't know. My idea, the way I look at it is, and I don't know how you would enforce something like this, but my thought about to vaccinate or not to vaccinate, well, unless there's some reason why you can't be vaccinated, I don't feel like it is not a good reason. pertaining to something that affects the health of other people. But if you just aren't feeling it, great. Then you stay the hell home. You know? You work... I'm not saying you can't interact with society. You can. You just have to stay home and have all your food delivered. You want to talk to... anyone can come over and visit you, as if they want to, but you don't get to go to theaters anymore. You don't get to go to restaurants. You don't get to go to Toys R Us or wherever. If you're not willing to... If you can be vaccinated and just choose not to because for whatever reason you're not feeling it, because there's literally no legitimate reason to not be vaccinated if you can be safely vaccinated, then fine. Stay home. How do you enforce something like that? I don't know. Can it be enforced? I don't know. Could you develop social stigma? Would that be enough? I don't know. I mean, we've probably just painted ourselves into a corner with disinformation. I mean, the whole anti-vaxxer movement's been going on for 25 years or something like that now. I mean, that's something we should have nipped in the bud a lot earlier. But we didn't. Here we are. I don't know what the answer is, but no, I don't. Lyrically C says, wait, what? Twice? Yeah, twice. The person I was talking about has had COVID twice, and that's really seems to only have bolstered their. It's like, I've had it twice and it was fine. Well, I'm glad you were fine. Shame about the million-some people who were not fine and died. Not to mention the tens of millions of people who got it and were hospitalized and are, suffering from, post-COVID ailments. I mean, how unbelievably selfish and callous can a person be? Well, it didn't affect me, so... I mean, what are they even trying to communicate here? Oh, well, if you die from COVID, it's because you're a pussy. I mean, is that what you're going for? I shouldn't... Yeah, that's... You're a wuss. Shouldn't do that. Use that word. That's not good. Even though I was speaking for someone else, so... See, I'm not perfect with my language. Try, though. If I proved to you that you were wrong, would you change your mind? No, probably not. Wow. Let's get all the people who choose not to get vaccinated on an island by themselves with an Applebee's, and then they'll be fine. I would like to think that it's just if you could show people the correct information, then they'd be like, oh, okay, I was lied to. I had bad information, but now that I have the demonstrable, I'm not saying trust me, I'm some weird asshole on the internet. But but I would just love to think that if any person who is given the demonstrably correct information, and again, not the information I provide because I said so, but demonstrably correct information, that they obligately change their mind. As anyone would, right? So it's just an information problem, right? All we have to do is show people the correct information and show why it's true, not from a, trust me, this is how it is. No, here's how it is and here's why. You don't have to listen to me. You can verify this shit yourself. Go over here, look, this is how it works. You know? You know, a bowling ball and a tennis ball dropped at from the same height fall at the same speed. That may be unintuitive to you, but you don't have to take my word for it. You can actually verify that yourself. Don't listen to me. Call me some know-it-all asshole who doesn't know anything. You know, that's something you can verify yourself. Now, granted, not everything is something that you can verify yourself. I mean, it's like, if it's like, hey, did you know that if you go stand at the North Pole and stare straight up, that the stars rotate around, what is it, Polaris one way? And if you're in the South Pole and you look straight up and the stars rotate around whatever the equivalent star is there the other way? I mean, logically that makes sense. I hope you believe that's what it works. You could go do that if you had a lot of money. I mean, that one's kind of hard to... I mean, I understand that some individual facts may be difficult to verify, but... I would just like to think that if we could just... If people saw the correct information, they'd make the correct choices, but we see over and over again that that's not the case. As my personal anecdotal example of this person who says, no, if you proved to me that I was wrong, I still wouldn't change my mind. I have another acquaintance who I did not know did not get vaccinated until I found out that they had gotten COVID and were really damn sick. That was 4 months ago now, and far as I know, they still didn't get vaccinated and are not planning to. And they said, well, I have a wheat allergy. There's no wheat in any of the vaccines. There's no wheat in them. I mean, you can. There's no food proteins at all in the J&J, the Moderna, or the Pfizer. You're okay. Again, don't take my word for it. You could look up the fucking ingredients. Go talk to your doctor. Say, hey, doctor, I have a wheat allergy. Can I still get vaccinated? And they will, I mean, unless you hit, one random really terrible doctor or something, they'll go, yes, you can still get vaccinated. There's no wheat in any of the vaccines. I'm doing this gesture a lot because I so don't know what to do. I don't even know how to gesticulate anymore. I just don't know. I whatever would work to reach the specific people I'm talking about, I don't know what it is. I don't know even if it's something that I could provide. I wish I knew what it was, and I wish it was within my power, because I would definitely do it. If I knew what I could tell either of these people to show them that they are wrong, or to convince them that when shown that they're wrong, they should alter their behavior accordingly, I'd do that. But I don't know what that is. Now, I've read stories of people literally dying from COVID and still denying it. So I guess some people you just can't reach. I don't know. I don't know. Chicago says, some people don't want to hear the correct info. They just choose to believe what they want. Cough, flat earthers cough. Yeah, it seems like that. It's like, I've made a decision, and this is the conclusion that I desire. I don't care if it's supported by reality or not. I don't get that. I mean, me personally, I want to know as many true things as possible. That sounds hokey as shit. I want to know as many true things as possible, and as many, and no, that doesn't make any sense. I was going to say, and as many false things as possible. No, I just want to know as many true things as possible, and I want to know what's false, I guess. I don't know. Lindy says, you underestimate the power of stupid yet stubborn. Stupid yet stubborn. Yeah, I just want everyone to be healthy and happy. With the caveat that not come at the expense of anyone else's health or happiness, right? It's weird, because I'm a sullen, curmudgeonly, angry little shit who lives alone. And if someone like me can have empathy, I'd like to think it's within the reach of every one of my species. Sure doesn't seem to be, though. You know, I often play the what if game, and I think that was a cool thing growing up. Mom would say, okay, kids, what if... We loved the what if game. The what if game was, Mom would propose a scenario, and us kids would figure out what we would do. What if we went to the mall, and you turned around and I wasn't there? What would you do? And it teaches kids both, how to act in emergency situations and problem solving. It's like, oh, I would yell at the top of my lungs, Mom! I would look for you. Okay, and then, but you don't see me, acting as the dungeon master of this scenario. Well, you could, should you grab a random stranger and tell them that you're a child and all alone? No, yeah. So my sister and I, that's how we learned a lot of survival instinct. Your car breaks down in the middle of the desert. You're driving up to Kingdom, past the Hoover Dam, and that long stretch of road, you just break down there, and you've got these were the days before cell phones. What do you do? One of my what ifs is like, what if I had like Genie pops out and says, you've got one wish. And I think, okay, I've got one wish to make the world a better place. What specific thing could I wish for that would make the world an awesome place for everybody in it? And I think the thing I keep coming back to is I would curse, if that's the proper word. I would curse every human being with empathy. Now, I could be totally wrong with this, but the more I think about it, I'm thinking a lot of our problems seem to be a complete lack of empathy. Like, if everyone actually gave a damn what happened to other people, like, if they could understand how their actions negatively affected others, they might at least be less inclined to do that. Like bigots. They may still be bigots, but they'd understand that what they are doing is harmful and not want to harm other people because they have empathy for others. I don't know. Is that the perfect wish? Is that the wish that fixes the world? Maybe. It's the one I keep coming back to with the how do you fix the world in one wish? What specific thing could you wish for to fix the world? Everyone has empathy. Maybe. I don't know. Joey Jojo Jr. Shabadoo, one of my favorite names in this chat, saw a guy with tubes installed telling a reporter that the vaccine still doesn't sit right with it. Oh, he saw, yeah, someone, yeah. Conspiracy theories are weird. Lindy Lee likes it. Thanks. Conspiracy theories are weird. I once, I knew someone from years back who was into conspiracy theories. And at the time, I thought it was just aren't they just kind of funny? Just, oh, did you hear this one? Oh, that's, it's a folklore, old wives' tale. It's a that kind of a thing. I thought it was just a casual, oh, it's, I like astrology just because it's fun, you know? Later, she would rant at me for half an hour on anti-vaccine stuff, and that's the last time I spoke to her. So, thinking back on it, I'm wondering if she was actually a believer in these stupid conspiracy theories. But she was talking about, I think it was chemtrails, which is the fucking water vapor that shits out the ass end of airplanes. You know, you know what the con in contrails is short for? Condensation, I believe. It's just fucking water vapor. But she's like, oh no, the theory is that they're actually it's like a crop duster, and those are mind control aerosol drugs. And I'm like, okay, think about this for a second. And 1 second really should be all you need to realize how fucking stupid this is. So, what you're saying is that on commercial airliners, not only is there some kind of mind control drug that exists, that is being mass produced in aerosol form, and is somehow loaded onto commercial airliners of every single airline throughout the entire world, but that it works when dumped at 30,000 feet or however the hell high airplanes fly? Really? And they're constantly doing that shit over unpopulated areas and, like, over the ocean too, which, are they trying to mind control the fish? Are they paying off literally every single employee of every single airline? I mean, think about this for a second. If you actually had mind control drugs, what's an easier way to get it to people than to, pay everyone who works for every airline ever to install it on every commercial airline, well, every plane, to spritz it across the sky from humongous height. You know what happens if you're in your swimming pool and I dump a bottle of hydrochloric acid in the pool? Nothing! Nothing! Nothing happens! Because it dilutes. Same thing if you were aerosoling mind control drugs at 30,000 feet. Nothing would happen. But if you did have these drugs, wouldn't it be easier to, spike the fucking local water supply? Wouldn't that seem like a much easier, cheaper way of doing... I mean, come on. This is a... Now, to her credit, she went, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Flat Earth is still a thing. That's amazing. It's to the point where it's like, I don't believe anyone who says they believe the Earth is flat. Like, I don't believe you. I think you're just bullshitting. Which is kind of sad. Like, imagine being so unremarkable as a human being that the only thing you can think of to get anyone to pay you any mind is to pretend to be the dumbest asshole on the Earth. And it's like, no, I'm pretty sure Earth is flat, and that the sky isn't real or something. And neither is the sun or the moon. And that NASA's doing it. The organization that was founded in the 50s. I mean, the NASA's an organization is only like 70, 80 years old. I mean, we've known the Earth is around for several thousand years. I don't know. Shin Megami Tensei 4 had a demon based off of chemtrails. Great. What are some of the other conspiracy theories? Yeah, I remember her ranting. This was pre-COVID too. This is like 4 years ago. I don't even know how we got on the topic, but she angrily yelled at me for like 20, 30 minutes. And she had been a friend of mine for multiple years. And I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt because most of what she's saying I'd never heard before. So I wasn't taking notes. I was, physical notes. I made mental note of everything she said that I could remember. And I went home and I wrote down, I had a list of like 6 things, 6 specific points that she had made. And within half an hour, I had looked up all 6 and all of them were wrong. And then I spent the next like 5 or 6 hours. I was up until like 4:30 in the morning or something, double and triple checking against multiple independent sources just to make absolutely sure that I wasn't just confirmation bias, that I wasn't just hitting information sources that were giving me the information that I thought was true or whatever. No, she was just wrong about literally every single thing she'd said, or at least everything I had made a mental note of. I've not spoken to her since, and I can't say that this is true, but I don't believe that had I showed her that she was wrong, that would have made any bit of difference. What struck me is how angry she was and yelling at me. And yeah, she did use the old canard, do your own research, which is always kind of a weird one to me. It's like did you do my own research? Are you expecting me to run clinical trials or something? I mean, other people who are paid to do this have done the research. I just read it. I think that might be, by do your own research, it's like, look at the results of the information the human race has gathered on this topic and draw your own conclusions from there. Okay, I did. And you're wrong about everything. Reminds me of Gamergate. Remember Gamergate? Boy, did we as a collective industry handle that poorly. My first interaction with it, this was back in the days of game politics. I had another topic to talk about, but I'm just going to ramble as long as you guys want to listen to me. Back in the days of game politics, this would have been, summer of 2014, I think, August. I don't even know if the Gamergate term had been coined yet, but I was reached out to, within a span of like 10 minutes, was reached out to on Twitter by 3 completely different people whom I did not know. And all of them said, oh, here's a story that you should write about in game politics. And this was something that happened with some frequency. I would get tips from random people on the internet saying, oh, hey, here's something that seems to be in game politics wheelhouse. Maybe you might want to cover it. But I had, within a span of like 10 minutes, 3 people saying, hey, here's a story for you. So there's this game developer who is trading sexual favors for good reviews of her game. And that review was published at this publication. And I said, I really don't want to cover that. That's gross, but yeah, that's probably in our purview. So, okay, I'll look into it. It took me less than 5 minutes to find out that it was all complete and utter bullshit. Both the journalist and the game developer did exist. So did the developer's game. So did the publication in question. So the game, the journalist, the developer, and the journalistic publication all existed. So far, so good. Here's where it fell apart. That journalist did not review that game at that site. The review didn't exist. I thought maybe they meant a preview or impressions or something. No. That journalist did not cover that game at that site at all. In fact, that game was not reviewed or previewed at that site at all. I thought, okay, maybe they got the wrong website. So I looked at this journalist's entire publication history because, like many in the freelance journalism field, we got to spread our love around because journalism don't pay very well. So most of your favorite people writing for whatever publication, they're probably writing for several different ones because writing doesn't pay very much, at least not right now. So I looked up this person's writing history, and they had never written a review, preview, or impressions of this game for any publication ever. The only mention I saw this person, there were two mentions. There was an article which was a summation of some event like a game jam or something like that. And the developer, who among others had participated in the event, was quoted, again among other people, and was identified as developer of this game, which was the game they were most known for at the time, which makes sense. Had nothing to do with the game itself, just like said this person who developed this game you may have heard of. Another article I found was remember Steam Greenlight? They had published an article saying these 50 titles have been approved for Steam Greenlight, and the game in question was among the 50. Now, it and 2 or 3 other titles were highlighted. It said, this game, and this game, among 50 others, were highlighted for Steam Greenlight, which makes sense, because that of the list of 50, that was one of the games that anyone may have heard of. But that was it. So, in less than 5 minutes, I was like, okay, well, no story here. So, I don't know where you got this idea, but it's demonstrably wrong. So I went back and I informed these people. I said, thanks for the tip. Turns out that this is not a story because this journalist did not review, preview, cover this game at that publication or any other. So even if that journalist and that developer are in some type of romantic relationship, it doesn't matter because he's not reviewing her work, so there's no story here. And then these people swore at me and sent me pornographic images with the developer's head pasted on. Not my head pasted on, I felt kind of left out, but the developer's head. Not the journalist either. I found that kind of interesting. The focus was always on the woman here. Interesting. I remember one of them, their response was like a single sentence that had the F word in it 7 times, and yet I could still parse the sentence. I was actually kind of impressed. I don't think it exists anymore. I remember going back to look for it later because I thought it was really funny, and I think the accounts were abandoned or deleted or something because I couldn't find it anymore. But yeah, that was my first introduction to not game politics, Gamergate. So it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna have to do some work to win back my trust on this. And it was always bullshit based on bullshit. So so of course they never did. But so what else was I going to talk about tonight? Oh. Hey, Crystal Dynamics is making another Tomb Raider game, and it uses Unreal Engine 5. Woot, I guess? What I found interesting about this story, and I read it in several different publications, is like the linchpin to the story is, like the focus didn't seem to be, hey, we're going to get another Tomb Raider, and Crystal Dynamics is working on it still. Well, what I want to know is it going to be a live service game? That's the thing I want to know. But the focus seemed to be, and it's Unreal Engine 5. I'm like, who cares? I mean, I'm sure someone does. Any chat? Do you care? I mean, if you do, great. I'm just wondering. Is anyone like Tomb Raider? Another Tomb Raider? Cool. Oh, Unreal Engine 5. Yeah. Really? Okay. I mean, I can't really blame any of the outlets for covering that aspect of the story because it was a Unreal Engine 5 presentation that made that announcement. So the new Tomb Raider was made as part of an Unreal Engine 5 presentation. So it doesn't surprise me that that element of the story is in there. Just how it seemed to be like the focus of all the stories, how it was like this really big interesting thing. Like I mean, it's like there's a new Tomb Raider and Lara Croft wears a funny hat. She wears a cowboy hat now. Huh. Well, okay, that's different. I don't know. It just seemed kind of weird that seemed to be the big, oh my god, Unreal Engine 5! One of the more popular engines, or at least the newer iteration of one of the more popular engines that tons and tons of games actually use. A new game that's not coming out for several years is going to use that. Wow! Is it going to use a controller too? Is it going to output to a television? I sass, but I don't know. That's the problem when you need to write a story and there's nothing to write. There's a new Tomb Raider game. Yeah, I think most people assume that. Hey, breaking news. Nintendo is currently working on a new Mario game. They haven't announced it, but you heard it here first. Oh, I'll break some more news. Nintendo is currently working on the successor to the Switch. They haven't announced it yet, but I'm in the know. Rockstar, even though they keep releasing Grand Theft Auto 5, they're currently working on Grand Theft Auto 6. Yeah. Believe you me. I mean, yeah. We all kind of figured that. I mean, it's nice to know. I certainly do not begrudge any company for announcing games. It's like, hey, we're working on stuff that you're going to want to give us money for. Okay, cool. So, yeah, Unreal Engine 5 hype? Chicago says the new Tomb Raider game will optimize for latest AMD video cards. You can see Laura's eyelashes flutter realistically. Oh, but goddammit, if she has any peach fuzz, like humans do. For those of you who are not aware, it's just internet assholes complaining about the visual fidelity of Aloy in the new Horizon Forbidden West game. Like, the highest detailed character model, the fidelity is so high now that you could, see the peach fuzz coating the person's face and arms. Like real human beings have. And some of the shitty, toxic, sexist dipshits of the corners of social media lost their fool minds. Oh, she has a beard! No, you fucking morons. How can I enjoy this game if I don't want to bang the protagonist? I don't know. You seem to play games with male protagonists just fine. Maybe it's like some of these sexist douche waffles are all right. It's a consolation thing. It's like, all right, I'll play as a female protagonist, but only if she's hot. Otherwise, no. Maybe that's the idea there. Like, if you're gonna force me to play as a dumb girl, she better have an attractive hiney. maybe that's the idea behind. I don't know. I'm glad my audience is cool. You're. I'm pointing at the chat. Here's the camera. You're a cool audience. I like you. Because I've had some uncool people, but I banned them all. I've had a couple overtly sexist and racist and bigoted or just really mean people in my chats and comment sections and stuff before. But you know what I did? I deplatformed them. I removed them from my space because I decided, since I control this space, that you're not welcome here if you're a bigot or if you're particularly mean to everyone else. You go somewhere else. Which is something I wish more people would do. Like, Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Twitch and all that. It's like, you could just deplatform people for being unpleasant. Oh, you don't like that? Well, don't be unpleasant. Don't be mean to people. I'm banning you. Why? For being a dick. Well, that's not fair. Well, so stop being a dick. You got a warning. I'll warn you. Hey, Mr. Twitter here, you're being a dick. We don't like dicks on our platform, so stop being a dick, or we will remove you. Thank you, Chicago. All right, I've droned on long enough. There was lots of stuff to get off my... Nice to finally get things off my chest. Unlike when I was working out yesterday, because I decided to finish my workout with some heavy bench presses, and that's 275. And so, I crawl under there and I'm thinking, okay, we're at the end of the workout. I'm just gonna do a nice set of 5 or 6 here. Just gonna power through them, and then we'll cool down and we'll be done for our set. And I unrack it. I bring it down and it's feeling good. I'm like, okay, it's good. I press it up. It's nice and controlled. I'm like, okay, that's 1. Bring it back down, and then. And my body's like, nope, no, no, 5 or 6, no, 2. So 2. So yeah, couldn't get the 275 off, but well, I did get it back up on the second rep and re-racked it, but body is weird. It's like, but I can press this weight. Body's like, not today, you can't. Today's no, you're not doing 275, right? You get 2 reps. Yeah, that's all you're doing today, buddy. Exercise is weird like that. Sometimes you just have an off day and you can't do anything. That goes for strength exercises. That goes for balance exercises. Like, you may be stand on 1 foot, and you may be like do the tree pose, right? Like a rock or like a tree, I guess. And some days you're just holding it perfectly, and another day you're like, it's like, what's wrong? Why is my balance completely gone? I have no idea why. Just some days are better than 40s, says Lindy. Yeah. Or I'm just told. I mean, that's not exclusive to 40s. That's it. That'll happen in your 20s too. Sometimes you just have an off day. So, what time is it? I got to eat dinner, and then maybe should I give Superman Returns a try tonight? Because I don't know if I want to, honestly. I watched X-Men Last Stand today, and maybe I should just start up Xenoblade Chronicles and finally finish that damn game that I've been playing since 2013. Now, granted, I took a long multi-year break and started it over this last year, and I just need to finish it. We're at the foot of the Mechonis. We fell off of the Mechon. We walked along the swords, and so we were at, like, I don't know, shoulder level kind of, and we fell off, and somehow didn't die, which is nice. There's no fall damage in the game. I didn't expect that to mean that we could jump off the head, well, the arm of the Mechonis, and which is, you know, gigantic robot that's so large that people live on it. And you wonder if there's anyone who like lives on Bionis or something like that, who's the other robots. Like, we don't live on a big robot. I look around, I just see flat ground. Surely we live on a oblate spheroid or a flat plane or something. It's like, where's the robot? I'm looking around, I don't see the robot. It's like literally right there. You can look up and see the face. You can look out across and see Mechonis over there. Dumbass. It's just Bionis Mechonis deniers or something. It's like that. Well. I need to finish Astral Chain too. I really like that game. I think I've got like 2 chapters left of that game, so I need to finish that up. Okay. Hey everyone, thanks for being cool, and thanks for listening to me ramble for 2 hours about nonsense. So hope you're all good and safe, and hope everyone in your life is treating you right. So hope to see y'all tomorrow for some more Trails in the Sky SC goodness. Maybe we'll finish that game this month. Hey, there was a trailer for the new Trails game. Is it Kuro no Kiseki? Crimson Sky? Crimson Sin, right? I didn't watch it, because no spoilers, but I'm like, ooh, new. I mean, it's not even released in Japan yet. I think it comes out this fall. And, it's not localized yet, but, I mean, by the time, the rate I play, by the time I get up there, it'll be like 2032, so plenty of time to get that title localized. Alright, hope to see you tomorrow for the Sunday stream. I mean it this time. Take care. Bye-bye.